Hello and welcome to our number talk. Today we are looking at the expression 19 plus 54. What we do in a number talk is we use mental math. That means no paper, no pencil, to try to figure something out, and then we look at all of the different strategies we could have used together. So before we go any further, let's go ahead and do that. Pause the video, figure out 19 plus 54 in your head. When you have your answer, unpause the video and we will look at all of the strategies together. So the first thing we could have done is to make tens using the associative property, and the associative property is our grouping property. And it lets us take three or more add-ins and just add them in different groups. So let's take a look at what we have right here. We've got 19 and 54, and we're going to take a look at our first add-in 19, and we're going to think, how far away is it from our next 10? Well, we just need one more. That one more would give us from 19 up to 20, so what we're going to do is we're going to take 1 from the 54, and we're going to add it with this 19. So we're going to make that one group. So this is what it looks like. We're going to take our 19 and 54, and then we're going to take our 54 and we're going to break it up into two different parts. First, we're going to take that 1, which we need to make our 19 up into 20, and then whatever's left, which just happens to be 53, basically everything else. So you notice how now I have three different add-ins. My 54 is now a 1 plus 53. So what I'm going to do with my associative property is simply shift my parentheses. I want to add my 19 and my 1 first, and that's going to get me 20. And then I want to add 53. And 20 and 53 gets us hopefully what you got when you did mental math, and that's 73. Another thing we can do is to look at friendly numbers. So friendly numbers are numbers that are a little bit easier to add in our head. Usually they end in a 0 or a 5. So let's take our first number right here, and let's say, you know what, 19, let's split that up into a 15 and 4, just because 15 is going to be pretty easy to add. And this 54, let's just break this up into a 50 and a 4. And the reason we're going to do that is because we're going to use our associative property to regroup them, but the commutative property is also going to help. See, that's our order property. The associative property lets us regroup three or more add-ins, but the commutative property lets us put them in different order. Like 8 plus 5 is the same as 5 plus 8. Same thing. So I want to put my 15 and my 50 together first. So 15 and 50. That's going to be easy to add. That's 65. So what's left over is my 4 and 4. Well, that's easy. That's 8. So if I add my 65 and 8, I get back up. I have to regroup a little bit, but I'm going to get back up to my 73. Some of you might have chosen to break it down by place value, and that's always a good strategy. When in doubt, you can always go back to place value. What that means is you take your 19 and your 54 and you look at each of them like their expanded form. 10 plus 9. And then your 54 is going to be 50 plus 4. We're going to use our associative property and our commutative property to reorder them and to regroup them so we can bring our 10s together. So 50 and 10. So that's going to get us 60. So we're going to bring that together first. And then we've got to grab our 1s. We've got to bring them in their second. So that's going to be my 9 plus 4. Have to do a little bit of regrouping there, but that's a basic fact. 9 and 4 is 13. Add 60 and 13. We still get back up to our 73. Now, adding up in chunks is kind of like the place value strategy we just did, except it keeps the first add-end together. So we're going to keep our 19 together, and we're going to take our second add-end, 54. We're going to break it up into a 50 and a 4 into place value. And then we're just going to use our associative property to shift the parentheses so we can add that 19 and 50 first. Because notice we're keeping the same three add-ins, 19 plus 50 plus 4. That stays the same. So now we're just going to add 19 and 50. That's going to get us 69. And then we just got to add 4 more, 70, 71, 72, 73. And then finally, compensation is fun to play with because it actually gives you two new numbers to work with. So we're going to take our two add-ins. We're going to look for the one that's closest to the nearest 10. So really it's this 19 again that we've already looked at in our first strategy, the making 10s. And we're going to say, what would it take to get that 19 up to a 20? Well, it would take 1 But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take that 1 away from my 54, and that's going to leave me with 53. I'm going to add that 1 over here to my 19, and that's going to get me 20. So now I've got two different numbers, 20 and 53, still a balanced expression. And look at 20 and 53, super easy to add, 73. So those are all the different ways I could think of to add 19 plus 54. If you can think of another way, that's fantastic. Go ahead and add it as a comment to the video. If you are a teacher and would like a copy of the slide deck for your own use in the classroom, you can find it on my website, 5minutemath.net.